Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. You know one thing I love about Skylanders? The fact that you had to get more Skylanders to 100% the game. Want to know what's even better? Having to get extra levels to finish the game 100% also. When the first Skylanders game came out with 4 expansion levels that included a Skylander and a power-up, I thought it was an interesting concept. Literally locked behind a physical paywall was these levels you needed in the game to finish. How does that make sense? Who cares? Buy this plastic figure anyways. They knew they had something on their hands, however, as 3 other games in the franchise did this too. But how much were they actually worth it is the question. Was I saving up on my paper route money for a horrible level? Well, today, I'll tell you what to actually buy, or just spend your money on Fortnite V-Bucks. You know you'll use that more anyways. But, as always, I'm Crash Rowsell of Crash the Skylands, and this is every expansion pack ranked from worst to best. This is my personal list. I know it's been a very long time since I've done an every ranked video, but y'all need to know that this still is my personal list, and y'all need to respect that. Nothing's changed. Just because I haven't done a every ranked in a while doesn't mean your opinions are now free reign. Well, it is, actually. As long as you're respectful about it, that's how we go about it here. My personal opinion is that if you have an opinion, you deserve to push it out, but just be aware that other people have opinions too, and it might not turn out pretty. So be forewarned. If you say a very hot take, people might not like that, but I do. So let's get right into the video. It's been a long time coming, but let's rank all the expansion pack levels. I don't want to start it, but I gotta talk about a bad one first, I guess. Number 14, Dark Light Crypt. I went back and played every one of these expansion packs again to get a correct ranking for them all, and man, does Dark Light Crypt not hold up well. This level drags out so much, and don't get me wrong, I like a lot of things in this level, but this one is similar to Griffin Park Observatory. There's just too much, and nothing truly sticks. The final battle with Oculus is so underwhelming and basically boring by the time you figure it out. It's the exact same battle the whole time, even with the switching between realms. Exploring this level is a drag and actually made me dread any maze for a while after playing it. Number 13, Midnight Museum. It seems the only thing the Skylanders team nailed for the Dark Element debut was Blackout, as the expansion pack introduced us to the Dark Element and their Doom Raider Nightshade is super underwhelming. The fact that you can either fly through this level in a few minutes or take forever trying to find everything and everyone isn't a good thing. If I went out of my way to purchase this level with Nightmare and the Trap, I want more of an experience, and this isn't it. The final battle with Nightshade is fine, but the fact that he gives up pretty quickly into the battle is just sad. With the Chef Pepperjack fight, he gives up after a long time. Nightshade's fight barely lasts 3 minutes if you play it correctly. It's so sad that it took 2 games after this to make the Dark Element worth it. Number 12, Empire of Ice. Not only do I laugh at the fact that Haldor says the exact same sentence twice when you aren't even done the section that he's in, but I also laugh at how bad this level truly is. I don't even have a part of the level I like more than others because even the ending is kinda just meh. The grand battle against the wall is just a turret section, but with a catapult that's hard to get a hang of right away, but once you do, it becomes laughably easy. Did anyone truly feel like this was a challenge at any point, or even get their health down to a scary level before you broke the wall down? Notice how I'm only talking about the wall segment? That's because the rest of this level is so bland that I don't even want to bore you with the details. Number 11, Enchanted Alvin Forest. While most of the expansion levels from Imagineers hit the mark, this one is kinda just there. Playing it for the first time is enjoyable, as you see Stealth Elf's mentor descend into madness with setting the whole forest on fire, ending with a battle with an evil tree spirit who's just evil by accident, but on a second playthrough, however, it's just fine. When I did my Imaginelock round 2, I went into the level legit saying, oh yeah, I have to play this, and it didn't seem like to enjoy it at all then. So playing it now for this video, I just seem to think it's there, but nothing I can see myself willingly coming back to every time I play Imaginators. It's not like I'm upset when I play it like the previous entries, it's more like I actively avoid it when I can. Number 10, Shipwreck Islands. When the Skylanders team came up with the Chompy Mage, they knew they had a hit on their hands, and tried their best to replicate it in Swamp Force with the creation of the Sheep Mage. Too bad lightning rarely strikes twice, as Sheep Mage was never seen after this level was released. To make a memorable character, you need to give it not only a memorable experience, but the things surrounding it need to work too. The Shipwreck Islands are a fine level, but when the only thing you remember from this level is the giant burping sheep, which is the Sheep Rage, don't forget, and the fact that it came with wind-up, that's not a good sign. The level is enjoyable and I don't mind playing it, but it isn't one I see myself coming back to as much. Number 9, Sunscraper Spire. I'll be honest, the only reason this isn't closely tied to the Midnight Museum is the fact that the swerve that Megs as Luminous and the final battle with Luminous are generally surprising and fun. While the level itself isn't the best to play, the ending always catches people off guard and makes the level itself stand out. With that being said, I can't just judge an entire level with an ending, so after playing through it again and actually judging the level part along with the boss battle, it's not bad, but it's not great either. Right in the middle of the list is the safest bet for it, as it's a level I recommend, but it isn't something I'd tell you to 100% go buy its light expansion pack for over $100 online just to play this level. If you get the chance to play it, do it. You won't be disappointed, even though I spoiled the big reveal literally in the first sentence. Oopsie! Number 8, Dragon's Peak. Not only did this pack give us Sunburn and Sparks of Dragonfly, they gave us an overall fun level with an interesting storyline. This isn't just saving Skylands. This is defending the honor of dragons and dragonkind alike. When Vathek takes over the throne, it's up to you to fight his minions to force him to dethrone and let Flavis take the throne, which, looking at it, is the weirdest way to make a leader ever. It's literally just musical chairs. While this level is an actual story involved that is enjoyable and makes you feel good by the end of it, the level has two big flaws for me. The flying segments and that part with the flames. You know the one. The one where I killed Sunburn to make him my least favorite Skylander and then accidentally did it again in his Honestly Half Hour episode. I thoroughly like this level for the story, but the level itself has those flaws, and it's something I just can't ignore. Number 7, Cursed Tiki Temple. In my 5 conspiracies video, I mentioned how this level's a nod to the work environment at Toys for Bob, and looking back, that theory has some meat to it. Does that mean it's a bad level? Not at all! When this level was revealed to be the free expansion when you got Wildstorm, it made people excited. Too bad that they actually need to find Wildstorm, and don't get me started with Robo. More on that later. This level has you team up with Cinder and a sentient head named Bob to figure out why his homeland is acting the way they are and get his memories back. This level has a great collection of puzzles and exploration areas, but compared to the other 4 expansion levels and Imaginators, this one is kinda just there. It's not like I'm mad to go play it, it's more like I chose other options over this one, even though I love the concept of saving Bob from himself. It's a shame that so many of you haven't played this level, but you can easily watch me play it in the Imaginelock series. Shameless plug. Number 6, Nightmare Express. If you've ever seen the movie Ant-Man, you'll remember the scene where Lewis talks very dramatically about the past involving Scott, where he makes everything bigger and crazier than it actually happened. This level always reminds me of that when we are told the story from the eyes of Flynn. If that isn't enough for you to generally be curious about this level, I have no hope for you, as Flynn takes us on the most overblown and extremely factitious event I've ever heard. The joy you have throughout the level listening to Flynn tell you his story does, however, overshadow the actual level itself being kind of straight and to the point. I feel this level just get from point A to point B while having some fun with Flynn. That was numerous times replaying it like the time around, but Flynn's story makes you enjoy it regardless. I would have loved to hear the entire Skylander game overblown in the words of Finn any day. Hey Mr. Warburton, if you're watching, it basically writes itself. Number 5, Mirror of Mystery. I've always imagined a history of Skylanders where the enemies won, but this one changes everything and gave us the enemies as our allies. Not in a million years would I have thought I'd be teaming up with an extremely friendly Chaos, taking on an extremely evil Master Eon. The level starts off with you in a village surrounded by trolls who are greeting you and being so nice instead of attacking you. After helping them set up troll tanks, you get your first meeting with the evil Flynn, who leads to a battlefield where you're fighting Mabus as the main villains with trolls on your side. Boss battles include a fight with Persephone, Flynn, and Master Ian himself. Even with the weird turret section, the out-of-nowhere surprises of this level makes it one of the best, and I always feel myself wanting to come back to it so I can experience Skylands in a whole new light. It's also always nice to see how happy Glumshanks is playing the good guy, however, which we did get more of that in Superchargers. But I can't talk about it though, it'll just make me cry. Number 4, Lost Imaginite Mines. I've said it so many times in previous lists and videos that I find it extremely sad that so many of you will never get the chance to play this level, as it's locked behind the giant paywall that is Robo. But the Lost Imaginite Mines is one of the best levels in Imaginators. Well, not as good as 1 as you can tell by this list so far, but nostalgia glasses aside, this level is a very unique story and the layout of the level is placed perfectly. The starting story where you meet up with Blobbers and he runs you through all the trauma we've put him through, most of them by accident, he tries to take all the power for himself just to show he's Blobbers and gets blasted all the way back to his unlucky life. This level ends in the most unique boss battle too that ends in such a cool way where someone gets their time in the spotlight. I won't say who, and that it doesn't rhyme with schlobbers. Robo is not worth $1,000 price tag, but this level, well, it's not worth that either, so if you get a good deal for Robo, it's worth it that way. Number 3, Tower of Time. This level has everything I've ever wanted in an expansion pack. A good story, a perfectly laid out level, tons of things to do and explore, likable NPCs, an instantly despisable villain in Captain Cluck, and the best boss battle in probably the whole SWAT Force game with the best mechanic of stopping time. Tower of Time is a huge time killer in the best way possible, giving you unique puzzles and platforming segments that lead to simple enemy fights that can never overstay their welcome. The first time you meet with Captain Cluck, you know he's someone you want to beat the stuffing out of as soon as you get the chance. This pack also gave us Popthorn, one of the most fun Skylanders to play with, even though Wind-Up would have been a more suitable option. I love coming back to this level and trying to speedrun this one in Time Attack. It's the perfect mix of stress and satisfaction once you actually beat it. Number 2, Thump and Wampa Islands. I think what most people wanted from the announcement of Crash Bandicoot and Dr. Neo Cortex being added to Skylanders is that we wanted them so close to their actual characters in the games instead of a re-inspired version, similar to Donkey Kong and Bowser in the Nintendo versions of Superchargers. Who knew that when we loaded up Crash or Cortex that we would get a level that feels just like a classic Crash Bandicoot level with elements of Skylanders perfectly mixed in? It felt like a more open version of the original Crash games on the PlayStation 1, with the design and being able to actually bounce off the crates, then mixing in the Chili Run and the Jet Sewer minigames to focus on both Crash and Cortex. Giving us a final boss fight with Fake Crash feels just like an actual boss fight in the original games too, so this level starts, continues, and ends perfectly. We would get a full Crash game not long after, but for just one moment, the original Crash fans and Skylander fans felt peace. Until we heard him speak in Skylanders Academy, that is. Number 1, Pirate Seas. With every new expansion pass that was released from Spyro's Revenge to Imaginators, I kept coming back to this one for one reason. I'm a sucker for memory match games. The level itself might not be memorable for most of you, as it's so similar to levels like Oil Spill Island or Darkwater Cove, but this one has everything I love about Skylanders in general. A perfect level has a great mix of enemies thrown throughout, unique but not super challenging puzzles, and just enough space to explore outside the normal areas and not enough for you to get so sidetracked or need a guide to find the simplest things. Even though the match games are extremely simple, like why do they give you well over a minute to get 3 matches at first, I always know it'll be different every time I play, and I can play match games for actual hours. This level makes me want to come back to it every single time I play Spyro's Adventure, and, unlike Empire of Ice, there's an actual good cannon battle that actually gets you worried you may lose towards the end. The story itself works great too, as you're literally saving them all from evil pirates. This level just works so well, and it makes buying the Adventure Pack worth every single penny. And that's my list. What's your favorite expansion pack level? Let me know in the comments below. And as I mentioned since my last ranking videos, I've reduced my video schedule to focus on better content, however better this may be, so I've included a ton of other awesome content creators in the description below. That Stuified guy is probably my favorite. If this was your favorite, remember to like the video too. But for now, I bid you farewell.